Hola mi gente, MsMalcolmHughes here. Welcome back for another book review. And today I will be talking about Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I thought I told y'all I was reading this one, but apparently I didn't. So here's the synopsis of what the book is about. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students who hunt the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. So that's the synopsis of Legendborn. So yeah, we get to meet Bree immediately, love her, and we are thrown into so much trauma, so much heaviness, and it doesn't feel super heavy. I do think this is a true YA read. It feels like it, but if you've ever lost your parent, someone you love dearly, you feel the heft of what she's saying. I think the author does a great job of making sure we understand the constant pain that our protagonist is going through, but also how that pain sneaks up on her, and how others can't really understand it, but she's trying to navigate it and be stronger the best she can. So I thought that was well done. I think the idea of this, the premise, is not the most unique. And what I mean by that is King Arthur, right? That's just a long tale, right? King Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table, Lancelot, all of this just goes back. So that in and of itself isn't unique. But what is unique is the tale she puts on it for this story. And that's one of the things I really like. So we'll talk about the things I like about it. That's one. I love the use of magic here. So you have legend, right? You have King Arthur, but then you have root craft, which I love they called it that, hoodoo root craft, which is Bree's lineage, and we learn about that, and I love the contrast between those. I love that it's rooted in history, goes back to times of enslavement, puts a spin on King Arthur and that entire legend, that entire lore, spins it on its head, gives it a fresh new perspective, and that I thought was really ingenuitive and great. I did enjoy that aspect. I love legends, just in my own life. Myths, legends, lore, all of those things really appeal to me. So that is one aspect of this book that I did really enjoy. Also, this does take place in North Carolina. They did say UNC Chapel Hill, and I love that weaved in is just what it is, like roots of racism, present modern day racism, and how it's there and how it takes shape for different people in different forms. And I thought that was really well done, so I enjoyed that about the book. Love the critique of racism. At one point our protagonist says, your expectations belong to you and not what you expect of me, and I thought it's just so well done in the context. So there are lines that like jump out at you and stick with you, and I do like that about this work. Also, it is suspenseful, thrilling, captivating. It holds your interest, it holds your attention. Again, if you're someone who's into the fantasy, right, those legends, no pun intended with the Legendborn, but I think that it will grab you and hold you. I do think that there are enough twists and turns to keep you interested. I also really like the idea of secret societies. Again, it's just, I guess I like a good mystery, something to unpack. And let's see. No, I wouldn't say that you see like all of the surprises coming. So that's a good aspect as well. Holds your interest, different characters, different storylines happening, and you get to see a bit of it. So I think that's really cool. So this debut I think is like pretty good. But alas, everything cannot be perfect. So let's talk about the things I didn't enjoy so much. I think there are many tropes in this book. I think there are a lot of tropes. And unfortunately, that does take away a little bit of the joy for me. For instance, the girl falls for the prince or the hero. Even though it's intense and I love that for Bree, it is a trope. Also, girl falls for prince and hero, the good guy, but then there's like a brooding type character. So you kind of have boy meets girl. You also have like enemies to friends, and just certain tropes that we know are definitely here. It's like you're not supposed to like him, but there's some type of chemistry. It's just, but there is a twist to it. It's not a true trope, but it's complex. So there are some tropes here playing on that. Though it works for the story, not anything particularly unique about it. I do think that the character development could have been better. I don't think that I was emotionally invested in the characters the way that I would have wanted to be. I would say one character dies and I felt nothing. Like, I just kept reading. And for me, that was really indicative of the fact that like I'm not that invested in these characters and their outcomes. Even Bree, like I wanted, you know, you want the best for Bree, but I wasn't, I don't know if I was as connected to her as I would have wanted to have been, or that I expected to be. As someone who has lost both parents and has experienced the loss of my brother, and I arguably suffer from what she talks about here, which is just complicated grief, and I didn't feel as connected to her as I thought I would, and it didn't leave me as emotionally raw as I anticipated. So that's why I say I think this is a true YA read. I think they have some heavy concepts, but they do, like the writer creates in such a way that it does still feel light and not gut-wrenching at times. But I mean, I think that's not the worst thing, but I do sometimes want things to just like rip you apart, right? If you're gonna go all the way. So I think it did a good job at that, but I think that the author could have gone deeper and really had us more invested in the characters and the storyline. Also, though it's suspenseful, everything builds up to, I think it's pronounced Kamlan, and once it happens, I just wasn't as emotionally as invested as I thought I would. Or the big event that we were leading up to just fell flat for me. I remember reading it, I was like, this isn't giving what it's supposed to be giving, considering this has been this overarching fear for our characters in the book. Is not giving. So that was a big for me. But I do, the end of it, actually I don't like the ending. But a turn that happens at the end, I don't mind. But the actual ending, like the last page, I was like, why would you end the book that way? And I understand the symbolism, but I was like, why would you end the book that way? So those are things that I didn't love about the book. I think the writing is good. I think our writer will definitely grow. So I'm excited to see where she'll go and how her pen will mature. I think this is a great debut. I will continue with the series. I will read it. I won't drop what I'm reading to rush to read it, but I will read it. And hopefully some of the things I pointed out end up evolving over time, and we get to see that as the writer matures as well. So those are my thoughts. And if I had to rank this as far as read it now, read it when you have time, or read it if you want, isn't by no means a horrible read at all. So I would definitely say read it when you have time. Like, I would recommend it, but I wouldn't tell anyone to drop everything and read it. So I would say read it if you have time. That's my review of Legendborn. More book reviews to come. I will be reviewing the books that I told y'all I was reading, but sometimes other books just grab my attention and I go to them and I read them, and sometimes they end up being read now, sometimes they're not, but I haven't regretted any of the books I've read lately, so that's very, very exciting. But that's it for me, y'all. As always, I am MsMalcolmHughes, one who believes that books are sometimes better than people. And until next time, continue to give time, to be kind to each other, and to have the best day of your life on purpose. Odavo, adios, peace.